Hi, everyone. I'm so excited this week to bring on a special guest who's actually a member and a part of the tribe in a big way. She's been around for a really long time. We're going to hear all about her amazing story. And actually, this conversation started because I sent out an email and wrote a blog all about the pelvic floor. There's a lot of women that suffer from pelvic floor issues. You know, when you do jumping jacks or something and you leak out or you cough and you have to go change your outfit. That's what we're going to be talking about today. She's like, oh my gosh, I've had some of these issues and everything you hit on, I've done and it works. So I thought, what not a better way to have her on than to talk all about this conversation, get to know our amazing member and my friend here, Lauren Loutsch. So hi, Lauren, how are you?
Hello, thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to have this conversation. This is
Oh
a
my
good
gosh. Me too. I'm so excited because if anyone knows, you do, because you have how many kids?
I have 6 children and I'm pregnant with my seventh. So this is something that I've revisited again and again over the years, and I'm really passionate about this topic.
Oh, so good. Okay, because you probably are more of an expert than me because you have had the issues, you fixed the issues. But before we go into that,
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit about you and, a little bit about your backstory, how you came to even find me, the GFIT community, where you live. Just fill me in.
Whoa. Yeah. So that was a while ago. It was like 12 years ago, I found you. And I was just getting into fitness as a new mom. And I just thought I never really did fitness before, not really, really. But I recognized that if I was to take care of my body, it was the first time I was kind of clued into my body, getting pregnant, having babies. I just realized that I have to be intentional about replenishing this and restoring it because that was rough. It was really rough. And you saw the physical changes. And I met a mother. Shout out to Amy. She was in a stroller running group with me. And Amy,
Amy, last name,
am blanking right now, but it will come to me.
not Leffler.
Yes, no, 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 no. Um, it was Smith, but I think it's changed. So I'm like trying to remember her current last name. But she had done your ultimate accelerated plan. She was like one of the first testers of that. And she's
Hmm.
like, you've got to try this. It's amazing. She's a mom. I'm like, she's a mom? There's like fitness people that are moms? And that was so cool to me. And so I did your ultimate accelerated plan and then forget about it, like GFIT girl for life, you know?
Oh,
And that's
love.
where it started. And then I just plugged in over the years. I go through different seasons, of course, but it's always kind of the foundation of it all because that's kind of what started the whole thing for me with
Oh,
fit.
that's so beautiful.
Yeah,
So you did that after your first pregnancy?
second.
Oh, second
Yeah,
pregnancy.
that
Okay.
was after the second. After the first was just a
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah.
So,
You're
yeah,
just trying to figure it all out.
yes.
So great. And so now where do you live?
Texas, San Antonio, Texas.
Okay, you're in Texas.
Mhm.
And so how quickly did you, when you started doing when you did the UAP, how quickly did you kind of find your groove again? And how did you go from being hot mess mom, trying to figure it all out, seeing your body change to then like getting a rhythm again?
I think it took about from the time I found the UAP, that just like it was the catalyst to like my fitness journey. And I realized I love this and I can't live without this. And so I'd say like within a year, like I was like in my best shape ever, right? And really realizing that I needed this for my mental health also. That was a big part of my journey too. It was like, not only is this helping me physically, this is helping me mentally, spiritually. It's like so comprehensive. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Oh, so great. So now have you what are you doing now that you're pregnant with your seventh and you're
Mhm.
currently how many weeks?
Uh, almost 20. So I'm 19 weeks.
And how are you feeling?
Great. I feel good.
You, have you noticed since, you've kind of implemented the lifestyle and like the full mind body, inside out, have you noticed the pregnancies have gotten easier for you?
Yes, I will say every pregnancy is different, and sometimes they throw you curveballs. You're doing all the things and you're still getting curveballs. However, yes, like some of my pregnancies, I don't even feel pregnant because I just think it's because of that stuff that's locked in. It's like that physical yeah, the physical and the mental and all the things. Yeah.
Yeah, you look great. Do you
Thank
have
you.
a pregnancy plan?
I don't. I
Okay.
don't. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to gift it to you because you can still have time to use it because it's an amazing plan. And I don't get too many pregnant women that I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God. So I'm going to gift it to you so you can like check it out and use it
Thank you.
for pregnancy. And there's some delicious recipes and it's very balanced. I created it when I was pregnant and it's exactly what I did throughout my pregnancy. So anyways, you'll find it fun to add to your library.
I would love that. Thank you so much.
And who knows, maybe you can use it on the 8th.
There you go.
Oh my goodness. So how do you do it with 6 kids? Like, what is your people always say, they always use time and I'm so busy. And then you see somebody like you who has 6 pregnant with the 7th. Like, how do you do it? And what do you do? What are things that you've instilled? Like, what does your day look like? I know it's a big question, but
Yeah. I mean, I think the key is, and we're all doing this, whether we realize it or not, is it's the priorities. It's like what is non-negotiable and what's going to slip a little bit, and I'm okay with that. And so just really having that and revisiting that season to season. It's like, okay, we're in this type of a season. We just had a baby. That looks different than when you're postpartum and you're chasing people around and you're healed. That's a totally different season. And so your goals change in those different seasons. So I suppose that's how I would say that I do it all, but fitness is always non-negotiable. Fitness is always non-negotiable. My family is always non-negotiable. And we home educate our kids. So that's non-negotiable. There's certain things that are like, this has to happen, but you can't do it all. It's really not possible to do everything.
yeah, everything you just said is just highlight, write down like that right there, priorities. If it's a priority to you, you'll make it happen, and I love the non-negotiables. I talk a lot about this in the academy, really getting dialed in on what those things are. And then you just find a way to make them happen because they're a priority and because they make you show up to be a better person and to be a better mom, right? So
Yeah.
I just love that. And I love that you also are working with the seasons. And we talk about this a lot, but just like you said, like I'm pregnant. I have to live my life as a pregnant woman right now. I can't try to compare myself and try to be in the season of post-pregnancy or pre-pregnancy when I was crushing it. It's like you have to be where you are. And I do think that that's where people kind of fall off or they kind of lose frustration is trying to fit something in a season that doesn't fit. And that just causes so much frustration and internal noise that just doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah. And absolutely. And I've been there. I've been there right before, this. I found out I was pregnant. I was jumping into a weight loss program. I bought that weight loss. I forget which one I got. And I was ready. I was like ready to shred. And then I find out I'm pregnant. I'm like, actually, plans just shifted. We're going to save that for later. But that is difficult mentally. It's like, okay, fast pause. Where are we at? Life has changed. And so I think revisiting our goals is a good thing to do, and just having that awareness, which segues perfectly into pelvic floor, which with the breath work that you talked about, and just the awareness of in our bodies, like where are we
Absolutely. Have you always done breath work? Yeah, let's like segue into the
at?
pelvic floor. Have you always done breath work? And well, first, I guess I should start. Have all of your births been vaginal?
Yes.
And
Yes.
home birth, I'm imagining?
Some of them. Some of them were emergency transfers. I have some fun birth stories. We would be here forever. The last one was a vaginal breech birth in the hospital. Like there's been some exciting births, but yes, all of them were vaginal.
So yeah, definitely after 7 kids or soon to be 7, have definitely, opened things up quite a bit and potentially have like really had to work hard to just kind of cinch things back together. And yeah, like talk about some of the things that you've done and like really on the conversation that like it's even though we're working the pelvic floor, like how it really is all interrelated when it comes to like your core, your glutes and how, even the GFIT workouts, when you're intentional And maybe you don't even realize that you're working on your pelvic floor when you're intentional, as we talk about, really focusing on that mind muscle connection and squeezing, that you're actually not realizing it, but you might be doing some Kegels as you're working the booty, or as you're really like working that core, you know, you never know. But how it really all works together. So what are some things that you've done to help with that?
Yep. So I love that you said the mind body connection, because that's really it. But I fell into it quite by accident. It was kind of funny. It was after my third or fourth child. Like I had like issues with incontinence. Like I just thought that was the way it was. I have lots of kids. And so when I sneeze, I'm just going to pee my pants, and that's okay. We can like squeeze our legs together or maneuver like so it doesn't happen or whatever. I had found my coping mechanisms. And then I got invited to do a 100 swing challenge. So kettlebell swings. And it was 100 kettlebell swings every single day. But my friend, who just so happened to be knowledgeable about this stuff, she said, but when you do it, I want you to breathe like this. And she showed me the deep core breathing, where you're using like diaphragmatic breathing, and then you're bringing it into like the back of your spine. Like, okay, fine. So I did that for a summer, and lo and behold, I stopped leaking. And I'm like, what just happened? And then I started going down a rabbit hole of like, oh, like there's something to this diaphragmatic breathing. And it's not just with kettlebell swings. It wasn't these magic kettlebell swings, which they're great. But you can actually do that type of breathing anytime you're working out. And I was already familiar with this idea of breath work and breathing into the muscle because of your work. So it wasn't a foreign concept. It was just, I was attaching it to the pelvic floor and core. Because it's all part of a whole big thing.
Right.
Kegels are great. They're very isolating. I had heard of those, but I hadn't really thought of it of like, it was all the back, it's the hips, it's your whole body. Women, we store a lot of our stress in our pelvic floor and our trucks. And also like trauma is often stored in the pelvic floor. Like it just opened my eyes to like, there's something really big here.
Wow.
Yeah.
And all from the kettlebell challenge. I love that. You just never know.
You never know. You have to be open. So it happened quite by accident.
And so can you take us through, I'm familiar with the diaphragmatic breathing, but maybe you can take us through what that looks like. And then you said you did it for an entire year. Did you do it every single day? Like, what does that practice look like for somebody?
Yeah. So, diaphragmatic breathing, you can do it different ways when you're first getting familiar with it. I don't know if you'll post this video or if it'll just be audio, but I can stand up and show if both. Okay. So I'll try to talk through it. I'm visual. So. Okay, I'm pregnant. It's gonna look kind of
belly. See, I need proof that you were pregnant. I need proof.
I'm pregnant. Okay, so diaphragmatic breathing. Some people like to kind of put their hand on their chest and then a hand on their back, so you can make sure you're not lifting your chest when you do it, because what we really want is we want to expand our stomachs. So, and you just like release and relax, like as if you had a full bladder and you had weak control, it all come out. Like we're relaxing. And then you bring it in and you're zipping it. And that's when it's like the Kegel, but it's the core, the everything. And you can do that laying down. You can do that sitting down. You can do it standing like I just showed you. And that familiarizes you with kind of that corset feeling. Then
would you say that it helps for you to actually like, because I'm very visual and I love like how I, always try to say, imagine like lace the spine into your belly and spine. Like if you actually envision, like you said, that zipper, like you can almost like feel, I feel that contraction now that I like am envisioning a zipper like holding me in.
Yes. And some people imagine like you're pulling a blueberry up or something and you're like, really? But we're not lifting our shoulders. That's the thing. It's like, keep that relaxed. Yeah, so that's the method of it. But when we do it, I think this is so in line with what you teach. Um, it's becoming aware. Like, is it hard for me to relax? Is it harder for me to relax and expand? Or is it harder, to actually tighten up? Like maybe, I've had times where I try to tighten up after a baby. I don't feel those muscles at all, and you can be anywhere on this spectrum and everybody's different. So what I'm so passionate about is helping women. Like I'll tell a woman at the gym, like just find that place where she's at so she can be empowered in her own body. Am I too tight? Am I too loose? Like where am I and where do I stand in this?
That's
Mhm.
good. Now, speak on the idea of us, especially as women, always, I mean, I was raised belly in, right? So always
Mhm.
trying to hold everything in tight when really, when it comes to this breathing, it's actually expanding and you kind of want to get that pot belly and holding everything in, like keeping everything nice and tight and always walking around. You're
Mhm.
actually not allowing yourself that deep diaphragmatic breathing. You're shallow breathing. So can you speak on that?
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I think in life, becoming aware, are we tightening constantly or are we too loose constantly? I think a lot of strong women, we can be tightening a lot and we don't even realize it. And you can even see this. You might have a pelvic tilt because, like, this way you can wear a belt and you'll see that the belt is, because you're strong. And that's great and that's good. But we need that balance of being able to let it go and be strong. We need the control on both ends. So that's what I would say to that. But yeah, there's this story, and I just love it. My friend, she's just super duper fit, like everything you would think of, like fit person. And she went to a pelvic floor physical therapist, and they were going to do an internal exam. And they said, okay, we're going to do this, but we need you to relax as much as possible. She said, I'm relaxed. They said, no, you're not actually, like for real, relax. And she's like, but I am relaxed. And so they had to teach her, like,
Mm.
it's the bicep curl. Like, we're not going to be curled all the time. We also need that decompression. We need both to strengthen. So that was just so hilarious when she told me that. I was like, that fits.
That is such a good story, and it's like, it's such a perfect analogy too of just, people thinking, like, it's when I always ask somebody like, "Do you have any stress in your life?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "You have no stress in your life?" "No, no, I'm great." It's like, are you living with me in 2024? You're a mother. You have like, how do you like it's just so funny to me. But also there's like internally, maybe obviously she did feel relaxed, but then internally there was like, she doesn't realize that there is that tightening, probably because she is so fit and we are taught to be like, holding up tight and stay erect and always be squeezing, right? Like, how can we get the most out of this walk? But at the same time, like you said, it is a fine dance and a balance and a practice to
Yes.
learn how to be that in that when you need that, but then also learning how to, breathe and let yourself be loose and fully relaxed. It truly is a practice. And Lauren, I've mentioned this before, like probably the hardest part of what I do is teaching people how to, surrender, to slow down, to relax, because we just want to keep going and pushing and, muscling up. But really, it is this other stuff which, I'm sure helps too with the pelvic floor, learning how to, because you have to be relaxed to fully do the diaphragmatic breathing, right? You can't be tense.
Right. Absolutely. And so that's why it goes so beautifully with your rhythm too, with the Wednesdays and the Sundays. It is that intentional time to choose to relax. And so there is the diaphragmatic breathing, but then there is strengthening too. So yeah, bring in like a more I don't know the word for it, but like that breathing where it's like like, we're strengthening. We're not that relaxed when we're cranking out the swings, or you get relaxed again, but there's different things that are required. We do have to bring both.
That
Yeah.
mind muscle connection is everything, right? It's like, what are we actually doing? And I mean, I mean, you wouldn't know this, but I actually been kegling for the past 3 minutes. I'm like, can I kegel and
Nice.
relax? Like, is it possible? Like, it is.
Yes, that's great.
But I mean, you can do these things if you're intentional, and this is why it blows my mind when I see people that are distracted by their phone or doing all these things during a workout, because I'm like, but you're not really in the muscle. Like, you're not reaping all the benefits of, the pelvic floor work that you don't even realize that we're doing when we're really squeezing and holding that proper form and are intentional. And as you said earlier, like, where are you feeling this? A lot of this takes you to be able to remove whatever is out here and to be able to go into your body and to feel, where am I feeling that tension? Where am I feeling that little bit of resistance? Where am I feeling relaxed where I should be feeling tighter, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You've got me thinking of all these different things. Like,
I
uh,
know. It's like a whole
but
conversation.
yeah, it's so wonderful. I My passion is just to stand in the gap for women, because so often in this world, of the way medicine is and all that, like, we have trouble being empowered in our own bodies. And to be able to, I'm not offering medical advice, I'm just a sister that wants to encourage you to tap into that mind muscle connection. And that'll help you know what professionals to seek if you need pelvic floor physical therapy, or um, there's so much. It's symbolic, the gap of the abs and the pelvic floor, the gap of like life and loss, and like there's so many gaps. And I just feel like it's symbolic. Like, we carry the weight of the world in our pelvis. Like, life comes from there, whether you have kids or not. Like, there's just something really powerful in it. And it really feels very foundational, the core. Um, I don't know if I'm all over the place, but this
No,
is
I'm
kind
just, I'm right there with you. And yeah, my head's just going to just with it, it is just so empowering when you realize how much control we really have over healing ourselves. And it's not even a matter of like, oh, I got to fix this because this is annoying that every time I cough or jump that I'm, really that I'm peeing myself. It's also just like you're talking about, just this is a sign that there's something else, that there's stuff going on in there that needs a little bit more of your attention beyond like how annoying it is that this happens. It's like you said, it could it be from having kids? Yes, but also the fact that this is a very, yeah, it's very female driven, right? It's like
of,
these are our female organs, and it's just very symbolic of the stress that we hold, and that needs our attention, like just as much as it is to heal our pelvic floor, also like healing that stress that we might not even be realizing that we're holding there, that's causing the outcome.
mm-hmm, absolutely. Is there something that you do, like journaling or whatever, to kind of bring awareness to your own body or situation? Like, are there any?
Stillness. So in the morning, I have a stillness practice that I tap into before I start my day. So whether it be, for me, it's just meditation and quiet stillness time to just kind of like focus on my breath, similar to that deep breathing that you were talking about, and just really feeling what's going on inside. And I find that doing it first thing in the morning is allows me to feel and to actually like hear and to listen to what's going on, versus if I tap into my day, then I'm so distracted by the to-dos and the noise that it's harder for me to feel and to hear what's needing my attention. So
Yes.
having that morning practice when it's quiet, when my kids aren't there, when my brain hasn't fully, turned on, it's really that precious quiet time of messages that I receive. And, I always kind of start with like, what do I need today? And through that breath, you can actually feel, if you do like just a basic body scan as you inhale and exhale, you can feel like, ooh, that tension in my traps, or ooh, there's something going on here in my gut, or whatever it is. And then you don't even have to have answers. I think that's, people always want to have answers to what is causing this just bringing awareness to it. And you'll also, for me, I find that I get kind of the answer that I need of like, okay, today you just need to be a little bit more kinder to yourself. Like your body just needs a little bit more R&R, rest and recovery. Don't be as, and then other times I feel like fiery, it's just like when you go in and you asking too, like asking, what do I need today? This is why intention setting is so powerful. And then when you plant that intention, or when you kind of get that message and you're like, okay, today, this is going to be my intention, giving myself a little bit more grace. It's almost like I like to write it down or plant it so that then I can come back and remember it. Because when life gets in the way, then you're like, you're thinking more along the lines of the shoulds, what I should be doing. It's Tuesday, I should be doing this, but your body is telling you this. And it's like, remember me, remember me. So that's
Huh?
really powerful for me.
That's good. I would agree with the stillness, that
Excuse me.
quiet. Um, I never know when it's going to come with my life because it's very loud. But when it comes, I savor it. I take that little peace pocket and I'm like, okay, this is the time for that. And yeah, it's being curious. And then that seed, it does seem to bear fruit if it's meant to. And then you do receive answers in time, in the right time. So yeah.
In the right time. That's exactly it. Yeah, just having that curiosity. And I always get excited too of like, ooh, what am I going to hear today? What am I going to hear? And so for me, I do silent. I mean, I have a whole kind of morning routine that I go through that I teach in the academy of like kind of what the morning ritual is, and like kind of taking the different teachings that I've learned, whether it be my 20 minutes twice a day meditation. I always take the nuggets and the things and work them into, okay, now what works for me? Like doing two 20-minute meditations was beautiful when I was going through the training, but moving forward, does it really work in my lifestyle, my workouts? Like at some point we can't do it all, as we said in the beginning, right? So it's really learning, how can I still take, because there's so much magic in it, but how can I still incorporate it into my day so that it's realistic and I'm still getting the benefits?
Yes.
However, it's something that I can stick to, because I knew that 220s I could never stick to for the rest of my life. Although
Right.
there is reasons why, that system works and is taught. However, for me, I was like, I'd rather take crumbles of things that I know I can stick to and still get the benefits. And so really just finding that, even if it's just gratitude, just finding that time of just giving yourself some self-love first thing in the morning. But I do find that the more that we can find quiet, and it's going to look different for everybody, right? For you, quiet's going to be a little different, but I do feel like even if you have to be if you're in your car, there are moments where there is some quiet. We're so used to turning on music or turning on noise, but getting more comfortable with quiet and stillness has been very, very powerful for me to actually kind of gain that awareness of my in and outside world.
Yeah. That's really cool.
And journaling too, because sometimes you forget. So like journaling things and then being able to reflect, because you have to do the practice to over and over and then kind of come back and because it's not something like you read a book and then you learn it and then you're like, okay, that makes sense. It's something that is so subtle, and there's no I mean, there's a lot of substance to it, but you know what I mean? There's not like, you're like, wait, is that really what I heard? Like, you start to kind of get in your own way. But if you journal, you start to see patterns. And then that
Yes.
can help you be like, okay, there is some power to this. Like that feeling that I felt like really did like lead me, you start to see your own patterns and trust it a bit more. And then it gets a little bit easier and exciting to sit in that stillness.
Absolutely. Something else that you made me think of was community and the power of just being in alignment with community. And sometimes it comes in unexpected ways. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to your podcast and I'm like, Gina and I are thinking the same thoughts right now. I don't know how this is happening, but the same themes or the same things are surfacing, and it's affirmation for me. Or, sisters that I journey with, like, it's like, wow, like these themes surface and it's clear that this is something to step into. And you might have journaled that little nugget and you thought, maybe that's nothing, I don't know, but then it gets confirmed. It's
Mm.
kind of cool.
It's so cool. And the more that you lean into that and you realize there's no coincidences and that you're not alone, and the synchronicities and just
Yes.
even just this conversation we're having right now, but sometimes people, I don't want to, that's just, I don't, like, you don't speak out. And that's why one of my biggest things is lean in, because somebody else, I guarantee, is feeling it, thinking it, and they just are too shy to say it. I mean, I was that girl, believe it or not, in school, that I was like, I have something I want to say, but I'm too afraid to raise my hand and speak out loud. That was me. But you realize, yeah, and then it's just so amazing to be around women that have the same goals, but also are open to this other wisdom that
Yeah.
is our biggest teacher.
Yeah. The growth. The GFIT tribe has just been so beautiful for that. And just even, I don't know another Facebook group like that. Like that, it's pretty incredible because it shines through. And yeah, it's amazing what you've built. And to be able to have seen it like from early days, it's so cool, Gina. I'm using that word a lot, but that's the word
Oh,
it is.
I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah, it
Mhm.
does shine through, and it is. It's just a very special place, and it's just cool to see the OGs that have been around a while, and then even the ones that are like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go try this over other thing," and then they're like, "I'm back," and I'm like, "I love it." I actually love the people that leave and come back, because you realize. But it's almost something that is unexplainable, because yeah, yes, it is fitness, but at the same time, it's so much more. And it's just kind of like an unspoken teaching that just kind of comes through as you carry forward.
Yes,
Mm, so good.
absolutely.
Well, and then I wanted to also touch on, back to a little bit about the pelvic floor, but it's going to enter into more of this conversation is, some of the exercises that we do that really help with the core beyond like squats and core and abs is like those subtle movements, right? The subtle
Yep.
moving your leg in, bringing your leg in, and just those deeper interstitial that don't take that are more of like, it's a hard one to teach, but I know
Uh-huh.
I have a client now who I have her do these different exercises, and she's like, I don't feel it. And I'm like, oh, because it's not that power move, but it's actually
Yeah.
deep interstitial. Like it takes a whole lot more mind muscle connection. And I almost feel like you have to be more of an advanced worker outer in a sense to be able to master those, because people just want to muscle through. And if they don't feel the pain, they feel like there's no gain.
Yes, that's so true. And also, I think of the micro muscles, like, when we're doing like a shoulder raise or something, there's so many micro muscles there. We can go heavy, but we do ourselves an injustice sometimes if we go too heavy because we're just using the macro muscle versus like that micro. And I'm thinking like inside, it's very similar. Like we can muscle it all together, or we can like these tiny little movements that muscles we can become aware of in our own bodies. And I think with that too, if there isn't that awareness, I don't think you should give up, because just with my experience, like being postpartum, like I can't feel that. I know what I'm supposed to feel. I don't feel my abs for a good 3 months. Like it takes a while to actually be able to feel it, but you're still building. And so one day it's like there's like a little switch, and it's like, wait a minute, there's something there. So I just want to give encouragement to anybody that's like, what are they talking about? And I don't know how to feel that. Like it will come. And just
So good, Lauren. That was so beautifully put, because again, it's something that, like, when I do one-on-one training, I can like touch and feel and like try to help them like feel it right here. Like I don't feel it there. Like, it's hard to verbalize, and touching can kind of help. So if you're hearing this, you're like, okay, well, you're not here to touch me and help me. Like, don't give up, and just like get deeper into your body, and it will come. And I've heard, even, I'm just going to use Janet as an example, one of our dear sisters who has been doing the GFIT lifestyle for quite some time now, and literally has had amazing results. And it was literally probably, I don't know, maybe 4 months ago or so, she was like, I get it. Like this mind muscle connection, like all of a sudden my workouts have completely changed, and she's gotten the results, right? And I'm just thinking, where could you go now with this next level connection? Like she's like, I
yeah,
workout was so much harder today, but it wasn't really a hard workout, but it was because I was that much more connected. And it was like, oh my goodness. And that's perfect. It's like, here's somebody who's been at it for so long. Don't give up. Don't give up. And once you get that, it's almost just like, you find that sweet spot. And then once you find it, it's like your training will tenfold. And that's where we get away with doing less, because we are not able to literally, without massive amounts of weight, trigger these muscles that I feel like have way more impact than just trying to throw up a PR.
Right. And there's space for that too, but we need it all.
So,
Yes,
so true.
so good. Yeah,
Amazing.
it's the mind, body, and then it's like, I think we were talking about like a spirit connection, mind, body, spirit. It's like full package. It's really good. I was gonna say something. I've lost it. It'll come back.
It'll come back.
It'll
So,
come back.
so you homeschool, you said, and then I know that you do a lot of your own. As I said, I think you had asked a question about, it was you who asked, yeah, because you made your own kefir.
Yeah.
So you do a lot of your own like cooking, and do you have a farm? Like you're very like organic. I love. So tell me more about.
Yeah, so we're very crunchy. However, I realized early in my journey that I'm not meant to like actually have a full homestead. I kind of went down that route and I'm like, actually,
I don't know. You have the help though, Lauren. You might want to reconsider.
there's producer families and consumer families, and I am a consumer. I own it. But there are some things that we like to do. We like to garden. I do like to bake and do the ferments, the milk kefir, the water kefir, kombucha, like all those things. Sauerkraut, like I love that stuff. It's just a delight.
So
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I like you just like to be in the kitchen again, because it's like you have like there's just something about that medicinal, right? Yeah, same thing. I love making my own sauerkraut and things like that. I do have a dream one day of having my own chickens and maybe some goats, and I do want a donkey someday, and I really do want a potbelly pig, because I always wanted a potbelly pig as a kid. I even was a vegetarian for 6 months because I was like, I want a potbelly pig.
Oh,
Never got it. So someday maybe we will be more homesteady, but in this current season, yeah,
yes,
we do our best.
yes. Chickens are easy. We do have chickens, so I will say that's a really good gateway. Like if you want to see, like, test the waters, they're very low maintenance. So I mean, you can go as high maintenance as you want with them, but to
So
keep
they're
them,
pretty low maintenance.
yeah.
Okay. I have heard that. That's a gateway in. Like that's a
Yeah,
test kind of thing.
exactly. And fresh eggs are just unbeatable. So good.
Taste the difference.
Uh-huh.
Taste it. So good. Okay, Lauren. So I always end with a question that I wanted to ask in terms of, I'm the mantra queen over here. Love mantras and just how they really shift us out and get us out of our own way. And I know, we all have excuses. You have 7 times the excuses. What is like your favorite mantra, or it doesn't even have to be a GFIT mantra? What is something that you have really found that helps kind of get you out of your own way when you really just either are having a hard day, don't feel like doing it? What is your go-to? Or even just now in this season of life you're in right now, like what can inspire and help others?
Yes, I think, and this may be one of yours. I think this is one of yours. It's trust the process. Like trust the process and trust that you're where you are for you, for your good, and being in that surrendered place. Not that we're not bringing our best, but we're also releasing the outcome.
That's so good. I love that. I love that so much. And again, it just got me thinking like, there is still trust the process doesn't mean you don't take action. It just means that you trust that the action taken is the action meant to be taken. It's like that fine balance, it's like the secret. It's like people are like, just gonna wish for it and it's gonna come. I'm gonna manifest it. It's like, well, you can't just manifest and sit on your butt. Like you have to actually take action, but then you have to trust that sometimes things aren't meant to land then, but you have to just trust that in the perfect timing, in divine timing, they are happening exactly and perfectly as they're meant to.
Yep.
So good. So amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Lauren. It was so great chatting with you. And getting to know you, and I'm excited to hear more about your journey. And I'm going to be sending you over the pregnancy plan for you to dive in and enjoy.
I'm going to enjoy the heck out of that. Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully this won't be the last time you use it. Who knows, Lauren? You'll come back next year. You'll be pregnant with baby number 8. Who knows? You are meant to be a mother, and it shows. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
So beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I cannot wait to share your energy with the girls. And have the most beautiful rest of your day, and take care of that cute little belly of yours.
Thank you.
Okay, Lauren, I'll connect with you real soon.
Bye.
Bye, sister.